This video is going to be your guide to living in Greenville, South Carolina. And if you're thinking about buying a home, then you want to know the good and the bad to living in Greenville, South Carolina. So I'm going to cover everything you need to know about Greenville. That way, if you're thinking about making a purchase in the area, this should help give you an extensive overview of what's going on in Greenville that you should look out for, not only on the good side, but also on the bad side. There are some downsides that you want to stick around for till the end because it looks very promising, but you just want to be mindful of those negatives. I'm David Crum, and if you want to know everything there is about living in Greenville, South Carolina, make sure you subscribe below, tap the bell for notifications so that you can be the first to learn about the current market in Greenville. By the way, if you want one of our free guides, then just check the description below. That's where they're all at with our contact information as well. Before we get into the good and the bad of Greenville, let me just describe the basics for you. Greenville is located in the northwest corner of the state, commonly called the upstate of South Carolina. The city of Greenville has a population just over 70,000, making it the sixth largest city in South Carolina, but the metro area is over 900,000, making it the largest metro area in South Carolina. Greenville is the center of the upstate region of South Carolina, creating one of the largest urban centers in the Deep South. Numerous large companies are located within the city, such as Michelin, Prisma Health, Bon Secours, BMW, GE, Bosch, Samsung, Lockheed Martin, and Duke Energy. Greenville County Schools is another large employer and the largest school district in South Carolina. Having seen rapid development over the past 2 decades, Greenville has also received many accolades and awards. Some of these include top 10 best cities to buy a home, best places to live, best places for young professionals in South Carolina, the 10 friendliest cities in the U.S., best destinations to bring your dog to, all these in the last 2 years with a lot more. Greenville also shows its quirkier sides with some awards, such as the city with the 7th most breweries in the U.S. and the 5th best city for cycling in the United States. There are a lot more awards, magazine features, internet articles, social media posts about the amazing qualities of Greenville. In addition to being the largest city in the area, Greenville stands apart from the rest of the upstate in 2 big ways. And these will be our first 2 pros. Number 1 is that Greenville, South Carolina is the economic engine of the upstate. The economic impact of Greenville spills over into all the cities and towns surrounding it, as far as North Carolina and as far west as Georgia. The city, county, and other organizations like the Greenville Area Development Corporation and the Chamber of Commerce have worked tirelessly to bring businesses to the area. Job opportunity has helped keep unemployment low. Greenville has been under the national average almost as long as I can remember, and it is currently at 4%, which is 2 points lower than the national average. This looks like it'll continue, with all signs pointing to companies large and small viewing Greenville as a great place to start or expand their business. The first few months of the year have already seen more than $100 million in expansion committed to by upstate companies. The second pro is the way it has revitalized downtown. When I was growing up in Greenville, downtown wasn't a place that you wanted to visit after dark. The city had begun to focus on improvement, but it took until the 90s to see real change. During the 90s, Greenville added the Peace Center and Bon Secours Wellness Arena, initially called the Bilo Center. These, along with work in the West End and on the Poinsett Hotel, started to mark downtown Greenville as what it has become today. The city now hosts more than 250 events in downtown Greenville of all sizes. I speak to people regularly downtown that have come for the day, the weekend, or longer just to visit Greenville and enjoy its beauty. This place to be downtown has been copied by other local cities, from Greer to Travelers Rest to Simpsonville, but none have achieved the same heights. Now let's look into a few of the big draws in downtown Greenville. Falls Park is the obvious first choice here. The park has been featured in too many articles to mention. If you've looked into Greenville, I'm sure you've heard it. I bet more than 50% of the pictures used to reference Greenville include or focus on Falls Park and the Liberty Bridge. The 36-acre park makes the most of its natural features with waterfalls, terraced flowers on display, and a unique topography and landscape that encourages exploration and lots of picture taking. The park is often host to events like Shakespeare in the Park, now known as the Upstate Shakespeare Festival, in its 27th year. This event has grown with age and is now Thursdays to Saturdays at 7 p.m. This year, the shows are The Merry Wives of Windsor, May 25th to June 18th, and Macbeth, running from July 6th to the 30th. Shows are free and picnics are encouraged. You can check out the Falls Park website for many more events held all year long. Peace Center, which I mentioned earlier, is an entertainment and cultural hub for Greenville, and it has brought so many opportunities to the upstate, from Broadway shows to classical concerts and more. Peace Center hosts events in a 2,100-seat concert hall, a 400-seat theater, and a 1,200-seat amphitheater. The complex includes several other smaller spaces that often host workshops and are available for meetings and events. If you're living in Greenville or just visiting, I highly recommend taking in a show at the Peace Center. You won't be disappointed. If you're looking more for sports and bigger shows, you can check out Fluor Field and the Bon Secours Wellness Arena. The Greenville Drive play at Fluor Field and are a farm team for the Boston Red Sox. They've been in the west end of Greenville since 2005. The Drive also plays host to events and concerts throughout the year at Fluor Field. The Well is home to the Swamp Rabbits, Greenville's minor league hockey team, and affiliates of the Los Angeles Kings. Both sports teams have done a good job of focusing on their fans and offer a lot more than just seats in a stadium. Check their calendars when you're thinking of going and head to one of their event nights for lots of extras. Both are great nights out for singles, couples, and families. My kids really enjoy the Greenville Drive and the Swamp Rabbits. Another big draw for kids and those of all ages is the new Unity Park, which opened downtown last year. It is 60 acres with 2.5 miles of walking paths, wide open green space, and large playgrounds. There's a splash pad open from May 1st to October 15th unless it's raining. The new large event space and picnic shelters can be rented through the Greenville Rec website. There are still parts of the park coming, including the Honor Tower and Observation Tower, offering views of the park and the city a full 360 degrees. I can't speak about the big draws downtown without mentioning food. There are so many restaurant choices in downtown Greenville, and it's a major reason that people enjoy spending so much time in the city center. There are many long-term favorites from big names in the Greenville culinary scene, such as Carl Sobocinski with his Table 301 group that includes his original restaurant, Sobeys. He has Nosedive, a gastropub, the Lazy Goat, and more. Mark and Larkin Hammond's restaurants include Larkin's, Real Marks, Limoncello, and more. You can find signature places to eat that are multi-state, such as Hall's Chop House and Tupelo Honey. There are unique, one-of-a-kind places like Trio, a brick oven cafe with delicious pizzas and other choices. And there are new places to eat coming to downtown Greenville all the time, like the newer Juniper, Some Bar, a pop-up dim sum diner, and Scoundrel, a fine dining addition from Chef Joe Cash. It is hard to go wrong in downtown Greenville. I love to eat, and it is great to go downtown for a business lunch or to just walk around with my wife and settle on a place that looks good for dinner. If you're thinking about where to live and you're not moving for work or family, then Greenville's location could be a great pro or a con. Let's start big and work our way down. In the southern United States, Greenville has easy access to much of the East Coast. In upstate South Carolina, Greenville's a bit closer to the mountains than the beach, but within easy reach of each. You can be parked at the beach on Hilton Head or the Isle of Palms in less than 4 hours, and in under an hour, you can be in the mountains seated near a gorgeous waterfall. Being in South Carolina, you can expect a political atmosphere that leans to the right. Being a city that draws new residents from all across the country, Greenville itself is also a melting pot. Greenville's location has a big influence on the weather as well. You can see more about that in my video on Greenville's weather, but I'll give you the short version here. Greenville has warm or hot summers and mild winters. We don't get a lot of snow, averaging 3 to 5 inches a year, and this year we didn't get any at all. Greenville, South Carolina is great for gardening. We get rain throughout the year, but it's slightly wetter in the summer than other months. Tomatoes are especially tasty homegrown. We have them in our garden every year. Greenville has a great geographic location if you're concerned with natural disasters. We're far enough from the coast that we don't really get a large impact from hurricanes, and regular rain keeps us from dealing with issues like flooding, although it can happen really occasionally. We get some small tornadoes, but nothing like what you would see in the Midwest or, say, Oklahoma. Of course, mentioning location, your location within or around Greenville makes a big difference in your day-to-day life here. There are many old historic neighborhoods and many newer, trendier neighborhoods and areas around town. Some historic older areas include historic Overbrook, Alta Vista, North Main, and Greenville Country Club. Newer areas still close to downtown are Gower Estates, where I grew up, Botany Woods. Further out, we got Sugar Creek, Montebello, Thornbury Country Club. There are videos on all these neighborhoods in my Greenville Neighborhoods playlist if you'd like to check those out. There are many others around town as well, and I'll be filming them over time as we go, But if you have specific questions about a neighborhood and you'd like to know more, please ask. If you're choosing to live downtown, you're usually going to find higher prices, good-sized lots with mature landscaping, and established traffic patterns for school, work, and play. If you choose to live further out, you'll find a mix of older neighborhoods and new developments. This can give you the option of an older home in an established neighborhood, or a new subdivision where your house will be newer and everyone will have moved in fairly recently. There are pluses and minuses to both, of course. If you're going to travel for work or if you just like to visit new places, Greenville can be a great choice for a mid-sized city. Our airport, a pro to me, is Greenville-Spartanburg International Airport, or GSP, and it's located between Greenville and Spartanburg in Greer, South Carolina. When only Legacy Airlines were flying at GSP, it was a much more expensive airport for flyers, but several years back, smaller airlines like Allegiant and Southwest added flights, and prices have come down significantly. It's now a great choice to fly for residents. Some do choose to use Atlanta or Charlotte for flights when they can save more money, but for convenience, GSP is great. Being a smaller airport, I've never experienced crowds and lines that you'll find in larger airports. If you take small executive jets or like to fly recreationally, GMU or the Greenville Downtown Airport is a wonderful facility. They have a great runway park for kids of all ages to watch planes land and take off. It is a very busy airport for its size, so you can often see planes coming and going. My son really loves to fly out of there. If you're considering living in Greenville, South Carolina, let's touch on a couple more items that you'll want to know about and are both pros for Greenville. Medical care and schools both have great systems available here. Greenville County schools cover the entire county and many are highly rated. There are too many to cover here, but I do cover schools in my neighborhood videos, so if there's a specific area you're interested in, that information is there for you. Greenville County is school choice and offers magnet schools, charter schools, and other non-standard options. Having 6 kids, we have had children attend many local schools, as well as done homeschooling. There are some great homeschool co-ops available, as well as private schools that have a long-standing presence in the upstate. I would be happy to talk more about schools, school choice, and homeschooling if you want to reach out and speak directly. Like the school system, Greenville has some great medical options for residents. Covered by both Prisma Health Systems and Bon Secours St. Francis, Greenville has major medical systems spread over the area, as well as smaller medical offices for more specialized care. As you extend from Greenville, Spartanburg Regional and AnMed and Anderson cover those areas as well. We've got a few more pros and cons to cover, but first, let's take a glimpse into some of the homes of Greenville. This 4-bed, 2.5-bath home just sold in Alta Vista for $935,000. This cedar accented home was designed by Blom Design Studio and built by Cobblestone Homes. It is just a block from the Swamp Rabbit Trail and very close to downtown. Further out of town, this 4-bedroom, 2.5-bath home sold in Sugar Creek for $595,000. Built in 1985, but remodeled since. It offers 3,000 square feet on 1/3 of an acre. In Simpsonville, the most moved to suburb of Greenville, this 4-bed, 3-bath home sold for $440,000 in the Orchard Farm subdivision. It's not always the case, but as you can see from these homes, further you move from downtown Greenville, often the more affordable homes can be. Of course, this will depend on the age of the home, its finishes, and the neighborhood the home is in, the size of the property. If you're looking for acreage, it will be very expensive and rare near downtown Greenville, but it's still possible if you're willing to be 20 to 30 minutes outside the city to find things in a more reasonable price range. Housing costs could be considered a pro or a con depending on where you're moving from on your way to Greenville. If you're coming from the dense Northeast metros or California, for example, you'll find housing to be one of the many ways you will save on your budget. If you're coming from a small town in the Midwest or a more rural area, you may find that housing prices have gone up a lot recently in Greenville, and that makes housing more expensive for some folks moving to Greenville. Either way, you will likely find property taxes to be lower here, as almost everyone I speak to does. These homes I just mentioned have property taxes that range from $1,600 to $2,300 a year. Expect those to edge up slightly each year, of course. A pro for everyone living in Greenville is that Greenville is a pretty safe city in most places. If you look at statistics sites, you will find them reporting Greenville as unsafe to very safe. Most polls of residents report that people feel safe in Greenville. For example, 88% of those polled reported feeling pretty safe or very safe in a recent poll. 71% in the same poll reported that law enforcement is present and responsive. I believe some of the discrepancies in these sites are the way they report and the way South Carolina restricts the growth of cities, making most of Greenville not in the city itself. You can check more localized statistics on greenvillecounty.org, where the sheriff's crime stats are posted, or sites like city-data.com, which allow you to search a map zooming in and out for large areas or into specific neighborhoods to view various crime and demographic information. If you're trying to assess how you will feel in a subdivision, I recommend driving through a few times a day to see what the traffic is like and what the people living there are doing. Before my last pro of Greenville, let's talk about a couple cons of living in Greenville, South Carolina. The first is the roads. South Carolina has recently raised the gas tax to help address this, but I find that our roads are generally in need of more upkeep. Some issues have been resolved, like the recent reworking of the I-85-385 interchange, but the upstate still needs more road work. Often that's repaving areas that are showing alligatoring or wear and tear. Sometimes that includes widening a road like Ashmore Bridge Road in Malden, which I believe should be 4 lanes sooner than later. My next con for the area is allergies. If you have bad allergies, Greenville could be hard on you. I know because I fall into that category. I take allergy medicines all spring every year, as well as some local honey to help with the runny nose and itchy eyes that I get every spring. Some people here get fall allergies when different allergens are in the air, but they're not as strong and prevalent as the spring, when pollen can really leave a yellow coat on everything for a couple weeks. My final pro for Greenville is the people. When you come visit, I encourage you to take the time to speak with people as you look around the city. Walking in the park or when you go out to eat, just ask the person beside you how long they've lived here and what they think of the area. You're going to meet people born and raised here, but I'm sure you'll also find people that moved here for the same reasons that you're considering in Greenville. If you want more details on the future of Greenville, check out my video with Beth Brotherton, who works for the city of Greenville, about Greenville's plans for the future. This is wrapping up the pros and cons of living in Greenville, South Carolina. If you're from Greenville or living here now, please leave us a comment and let people know what you like most about Greenville and what you wish you knew before you moved here. That'll help anyone who's considering Greenville as their future home. If you're considering buying a home and you have some questions, just reach out. Give us a call, shoot us a text, and an email. All our information is in the description below, and if you want our free guide on selling your home for top dollar, then you can get that there as well. Remember, whether you're moving in 9 or 90 days, I'd love to hear from you and see how we can make your move to Greenville, South Carolina a smooth one. Until then, I look forward to showing you around town.